In the days when the judges ruled in Israel, a famine swept through the land. A man from Bethlehem in Judah named Elimelech went to live in the country of Moab with his wife Naomi and their two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. But in Moab, tragedy came. Elimelech died, and Naomi was left with her sons. They married Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth, and for 10 years they lived there. Then both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without husband or sons. In the bitterness of her loss, Naomi heard that the Lord had visited his people and given them a good harvest. So she set out from Moab to return to Bethlehem, with her two daughters-in-law beside her. On the road, Naomi stopped and said to them,
"You must go back, my daughters." Naomi answered, "Why do you want to come with me? Do you think I could have sons again for you to marry? Go back home, for I am too old to get married again. Even if I thought there was still hope and so got married tonight and had sons, would you wait until they had grown up? Would this keep you from marrying someone else? No, my daughters, you know that's impossible. The Lord has turned against me, and I feel very sorry for you."
Again they started crying. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye and went back home, but Ruth held on to her. So Naomi said to her,
"Ruth, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her God. Go back home with her."
But Ruth answered, "Don't ask me to leave you. Let me go with you. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die, and that is where I will be buried. May the Lord's worst punishment come upon me if I let anything but death separate me from you."
When Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she said nothing more. They went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived, the whole town got excited, and the women there exclaimed, "Is this really Naomi?"
"Don't call me Naomi," she answered. "Call me Mara, because Almighty God has made my life bitter. When I left here, I had plenty, but the Lord has brought me back without a thing. Why call me Naomi when the Lord Almighty has condemned me and sent me trouble?"
This, then, was how Naomi came back from Moab with Ruth, her Moabite daughter-in-law. The barley harvest was just beginning when they arrived in Bethlehem. Naomi had a relative named Boaz, a rich and influential man who belonged to the family of her husband Elimelech. To provide food, Ruth said to Naomi that she would go into the fields and glean among the ears of grain behind to find favor, and with Naomi's permission, she left. So Ruth went out and gleaned in the fields, gathering leftover grain behind the harvesters. As it happened, she found herself in the field of Boaz. Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to his workers, "The Lord be with you." They replied, "The Lord bless you." Then Boaz asked, "Who is that young woman?" The overseer replied, "She is the Moabite who came back with Naomi. She has worked hard from morning till now." Boaz went to Ruth and said kindly, "My daughter, do not go to glean in another field. Stay here with my servant girls. I have told the men not to touch you. When you are thirsty, drink from the jars they have filled." Ruth bowed low in appreciation. Her heart's full of joy. Boaz answered, "I have been told all that you have done for your mother-in-law since your husband died. May the Lord reward you for your kindness, and may you find refuge under his wings." That evening, Ruth returned home with an ephah of barley, arms full and heart full, narrating all that transpired to Naomi. Naomi told her to continue to work with the women in Boaz's field, as he was a relative of her husband Elimelech. Days turned to weeks, and Ruth continued to glean in Boaz's fields through the barley and wheat harvest. One evening, Naomi said,
"I must find a husband for you, so that you will have a home of your own. Remember that this man Boaz, whose women you have been working with, is our relative. Now listen, this evening he will be threshing the barley. So wash yourself, put on some perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go where he is threshing, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. Be sure to notice where he lies down, and after he falls asleep, go and lift the covers and lie down at his feet. He will tell you what to do."
Ruth did as instructed by Naomi. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, his heart was merry, and he lay down beside the heap of grain. Then Ruth came softly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. At midnight, Boaz was startled and turned, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. She said,
"I am Ruth, your servant. Spread your garment over me, because you are a close relative. You are responsible for taking care of me. So please marry me."
Boaz said, "May you be blessed by the Lord, my daughter. You have shown greater kindness now than before, in that you have not pursued young men, whether poor or rich. I will do all that you ask, for all my people know that you are a woman of noble character. But there is a man who is a closer relative than I am. Stay here the rest of the night, and in the morning we will find out whether or not he will take responsibility for you. If so, well and good. If not, then I swear by the living Lord that I will take the responsibility. Now lie down and stay here till morning." So she lay there at his feet, but she got up before it was light enough for her to be seen, because Boaz did not want anyone to know that she had been there. Boaz said to her, "Take off your cloak and spread it out here." She did, and he poured out nearly 20 kilograms of barley and helped her to lift it on her shoulder, saying, "Do not go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed." And she left and narrated all that happened to Naomi, and Naomi told her to be patient and watch. Then Boaz went up to the gate of Bethlehem, where business was settled before witnesses. He called the nearer kinsmen and said, "Naomi has returned from Moab and is selling the land that belonged to our brother Elimelech. If you will buy it, do so." The man said, "I will buy it." Boaz replied, "You must also marry Ruth the Moabite to maintain the name of the dead." The man answered, "In that case, I will give up my right to buy the field, because it would mean that my own children would not inherit it. You buy it, I would rather not." Now in those days, to settle a sale or an exchange of property, it was the custom for the seller to take off his sandal and give it to the buyer. In this way, the Israelites showed that the matter was settled. So the man took off his sandal and gave it to Boaz and said, "Buy it yourself." And before the elders, Boaz declared, "You are witnesses this day that I have acquired all that was Elimelech's, and also Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, to be my wife." And all the people at the gate said, We are witnesses. May the Lord make this woman like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the house of Israel. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And the Lord granted her conception. She became pregnant, and she bore a son. The women said to Naomi, "Blessed be the Lord. He has given you a grandson today to take care of you. May the boy become famous in Israel. Your daughter-in-law loves you and has done more for you than 7 sons. And now she has given you a grandson who will bring new life to you and give you security in your old age." Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him as her own. They named him Obed, which means servant of God. He became the father of Jesse, the father of David, Israel's greatest king. And so, from a Moabite widow and a Bethlehem farmer, came the lineage of the Messiah. The story of Ruth and Boaz is a story of loyalty rewarded, of faith honored, and of grace that crosses every border. It reminds us that God works quietly in ordinary lives, weaving redemption through love, kindness, and faithfulness until His promise shines in full.